So when you partner with your SMEs at ADP, what does the intake and the scoping process look like? Maybe from first conversation to sign off, and what's one risk you watch out for early that helps you keep that scope realistic?
Oh, always got to watch out for that scope creep, that's for sure.
Yes.
Well, obviously, to start off, you need to know what does the learner need to know, and really how deep does it need to go? What might be their prior knowledge, those types of things. Just basically setting those objectives, and it doesn't even have to be objectives that are formal or written somewhere. Sometimes it's just, what do you want them to know? What do you want them to succeed at, or experience success at, or success with? So that obviously is your starting point. Also, what resources already exist? You got to get the content from somewhere. So, what have the people who are going to be using this training or materials, what do they have so far? What are they using in the day to day? Or if it's, training program, what exists? And also, if there is something that exists, what's wrong with it? Does it just need to be updated? Does it just not working so well? And,
Right.
they're finding learners just aren't having success with it, or things like that. So just doing a lot of discovery in the beginning, taking the time to do that from the get-go, obviously is going to make your client be much happier with the end result. Um, because if, they just come to you and say, I need a training that's based on this, and you just get going, you could recreate something that already exists that isn't going to wow anybody.
Right.
So, yeah, so you need to know what's already there, and what do they need to know, and any pain points are as helpful. And I guess from there, the next step would be figuring out, what tone and method do they prefer, whether it be um, really like a formal training, how long is it going to be, um, multi modules and things like that. Are they wanting something that's instructional, just just step by step, job aid type of a thing? Or do they want something really interactive where the learner's going in and it's saying, here's a scenario. What would you do? Get feedback as they go, possibly. They're practicing and, trying out those skills as they're learning them. So really, it just depends on all of those things, that's going to set you on the right trajectory for making your client happy for the end result.
Right. That's so important, because the last thing you want to do is reinvent the wheel, right? And waste their time and waste your time, creating something like you said that's already out there. And so that's so important to kind of get that good feel for what's out there and what's needed. So that needs assessment early on is so important, isn't it, Jessica?
It really is.
Yeah, it
It
sets the
really
tone.
is.
Yeah, it really
Yep,
does.
absolutely.
Yeah.
And, once you figure all this out, what do they need to know? And, what sort of materials are they looking for? Look, you asked about risks.
Yes.
Keeping the scope realistic. There's always the question of the timeline.
Right.
When do they want it to be done? And how long do you think it's going to take to create what they're asking for? And that's really just something, if you're not, familiar with instructional design, it just really takes time. And, your seasoned instructional designers are going to say, realistically, it's probably going to take you this amount of time to create this. Together, hopefully, between you and your SME, or sorry, yeah, between you and your SME, you can find a happy medium where I can create this deliverable by this period of time. So everybody is happy, and you're not pulling your hair out trying to meet an unrealistic deadline. And throughout the process, it's also important that your SME is available to you so you can regularly discuss content, having those regular check-in moments and saying, hey, does this look right? Am I going in the right direction? Is this what you're looking for? Do I have the correct information? Things like that. because you hate to get to the end and then be like, ta-da, and it's all a mess or something that they don't want.
Right.
So having regular check-ins is important. SMEs do need to be involved throughout, and that may look differently depending on their deliverable and what you're creating, how often you need to meet, but it is important to make sure that they are involved. So when you get to the end, there's no surprises and, they can just be thrilled with what you've created for them.